highlights of the Baberspan 500, round one of the Bankfin Off-Road Championship are proudly brought to you by Bankfin, Ford, Nissan and Toyota, a unique motorsport partnership. There were some new arrivals when the Bankfin Off-Road Championship got underway with the Baberspan 500. Veteran Kasikutsi and Russo proudly showed off their newborn daughter Jessica, while Brandon Harkis from Bat Racing also unveiled his new arrival.
We're fanatical about weight. We don't like anything heavy on our car. We've used the best products we could, bought from America, put on a local chassis. We're using a 3.5-litre aluminium block V6, which makes 300 horsepower. The car weighs 925 kilograms, so it's very good power to weight ratio. We've got 22 inches of travel all the way around, and we use a 5-speed Mendiola gearbox.
The time trial, now known as the prologue, got underway in hot, dry and extremely dusty conditions. And first off the line were reigning production vehicle champions Camille de Villiers and Francois Jordan in the new-look Nissan hardbody. Crews had had a 4-month layoff and would take a while to settle into a rhythm. The Nissan hardbodies had been extensively rebuilt during the off-season, and changes to the suspension dramatically improved the handling of the V6-powered super trucks. This badly marked river crossing didn't prove to be a problem for the Nissan pair. Former champions on 2 and 4 wheels, Neil Woolridge and Kenny Skolthammer, were caught out and went straight instead of left and almost got the Ford Racing Ranger bogged down in the river. Franz Czepek Sr. and Scott Abraham's Jeep was withdrawn from the race. Next up were Avi Reneke and Robin Houghton, and they too misread the route and ploughed into the river. The Castrol Toyota Land Cruiser sucked water into the airbox and would take a while to get going again. Hannes Grobler and Richard Leek got it right in the second Nissan hardbody super truck, but the unlucky Reneke was having a tough time trying to clear the engine of water. Cliff Barker won the opening round of the 2001 season in the BMW M3-powered Barker Performance Products Land Rover and was hoping to do the same in the Baberspan 500, first round of the 2002 Bankfin Off-Road Championship. Marius Boersma in the ex-Barker V8-powered Land Rover was another driver who misread the route but was able to make it through after a short struggle. First special vehicle on the road was the Queen Motorspares Jimco of Greg Harvey and Boy Stone. They had intended racing their new Toyota super truck, but there'd been some development delays. Hot on their heels were John Weir-Smith and Tony George in the O'Hagan's Kopenhagen Hotel Jimco. Robin Houghton dried the electrical system on the Land Cruiser while Reneke cranked the starter in an attempt to start the engine, but all to no avail. Atang Makachenene and Paul Andre were looking for their first win and set a blistering pace in the Sam Racing Jimco that is fitted with a 3.6-litre supercharged Porsche engine. This was Andre's first time in this race car, in which he will make his debut as a driver at the Nissan Sugar Belt 400 in May. Rashid and Faisal Noble had the bit between their teeth and went on to set the fastest time in the prologue. Finally, 40 minutes after landing in the river, Reneke and Houghton managed to get the Castrol Toyota Land Cruiser going again. Dustec Mitsubishi crew, Sarel van der Merwe and Nas LaRue also landed in the river and lost a lot of time.
Stay in the water, jump right into the river.
Yeah.
The Toyota is there.
Yeah?
The Toyota is stuck.
The Toyota is in.
Oh. If it's going to be like that, it'll be fast tomorrow.
Yeah, it will be. What did your stopwatch start?
I didn't put my watch on, I just took it manually.
And what did you get?
We lost about between 30 and 40 seconds, I think, to you.
Just put some new wheels on the car, and one of the wheels fell off during the time trial. So we lost about 10 minutes trying to find the wheel, which fortunately no car hit. But we got the wheel back and we lost 10 minutes or so, but I'm pretty glad to be starting sort of down the field as opposed to in front. It's a lot easier to chase. So it's going to be very interesting tomorrow.
Gary and Bodo Bertholdt got their M&E glass bat tangled up in a barbed wire fence, damaging a caliper and hub in the process.
I'll take off the hub and you just start getting some petrol. This is bad, eh? This is why we had no brakes at all, eh?
Back at Leeupan, Reneke relayed his tale of woe to teammate Shumi van Vuren.
We're out of the race for a win or, say, a position tomorrow, because to start 40 minutes behind the first car and yet all this dust to keep up tomorrow and all the cars to pass, it's impossible to win.
The starting order for the main race. De Villiers a minute faster than teammate Grobler in the production vehicles, and the Nobles only 12 seconds ahead of the Berthold father and son duo in the crews prepared for a tough day.
Hello, good morning.
The 450-kilometer route for the Baberspan 500 comprised 2 loops of similar length.
We had a good run. We got lost there for about, I think, 20 seconds at the one spot, but I think everybody went wrong there. But we had a good run. We tried to push hard in the beginning because we knew there was going to be a lot of dust today, so we've definitely got an advantage there, although we've got to look for the road, but it looks good so far.
Rashid Noble would be first away in the special vehicle category.
It's taken a year to get this car right. We've been practicing every day, breaking down, but it seems got the car in order this time. The route is very fast, very fast. Sometimes you run out of speed, you don't even know you're looking for more power.
The Bankfin Off-Road Championship has developed into a major spectacle, and a large crowd turned out for the Baberspan 500. 8 o'clock and the race was underway with De Villiers in only his second full season of off-road racing and Jordan in the Nissan hardbody leading the 85-car field away. The Nobles were next off the line in the Chevy NASCAR V6-powered Aceco. The rest of the field followed in quick succession. Grobler and Leek were a little over-eager. Class S contenders Greg Dowse and Trevor Ormerod were the leading Nashua Mobile Racing crew and had Woolridge and Skoldhammer a mere 5 seconds behind them. The chase was on, and the Ford Racing pair were hell-bent on gaining as much ground on the leading pack in the V8-powered Ranger. While conditions were dry and dusty, there were a few streams and mud holes that teams had to traverse. De Villiers and Jordan set a fast pace in the new-look Nissan hardbody, now with similar running gear to that fitted to the locally built Nissans driven by Gregoire de Mervius and Stefan Peter Hansel in the recent Dakar Rally. Botswana residents Rashid and Faisal Noble held on to the special vehicle lead, but would retire soon after this with technical problems. Multiple champions Hannes Grobler and Richard Leek had gained a place and soon after this would take the lead from Nissan teammate De Villiers. But fan belt and battery problems slowed their pace and dropped them down the field. Father and son team Bodo and Gary Berthold shared the driving in the Nissan V6-powered M&E Glass Bat and would soon take the lead in the special vehicle category. On board with Woolridge and Skoldhammer, a near miss with Dowse and Ormerod, and the start of problems for all crews. A poorly marked route would result in teams frequently getting lost, resulting in a number of near head-on collisions and the running order changing all the time. The Ford Racing Ranger started overheating early into the race, which was cause for concern. Moreka Ford Caledon 400 winners Greg Dowse and Trevor Ormerod were runaway leaders in the new Class S for older design beam axle special vehicles. Introduced for the first time in 2002, the new class attracted 7 entries. Leading contenders for overall victory were Machechenene and Andre in the Jimco, but what they didn't know was that Weir Smith and George in a similar car were rapidly gaining on them after starting 83rd. The first of the Class D entries. Former Class D champions Hein Grobler and Gerard Prinsloo in the Works Nissan Hardbody had to contend with stiff competition from the likes of Mark Corbett and Juan Moore in the highly competitive ex-Delta Motorsport Isuzu, now being campaigned under the Century Property Development's banner. Veterans John Lambert and Pete Hearnes retired from the sport a number of years ago, but following the introduction of Class S, decided to dust off their trusty Digidor Raceco, here being chased hard and fast by Pete Haasbroek and Christo Bosch in the Class D Castrol Toyota Land Cruiser. The end of the road for Carlos de Abrio and Steve Cooper in the Toyota Land Cruiser as Class B leaders Bez and Dion Bezatenhout splash their way through the water in their Cheneth. The Class E battle was expected to be a tough one, and the early leaders were Manfred Schroeder and Jack Peckham in the diesel-powered Ford Racing Ranger. But behind them it looked like the charge of the Light Brigade as first Nick Harper and Andrew Chalipsky plowed through the slush, followed by Yuri and Andre Duplessis in the BB Auto Nissan. A cheeky move from Cliff Weichelt and Johan Smallberger in the ex-Woolridge N1 4x4 Ford Ranger gave Mark Breckel and Ian Kilburn in the Brasco Refrigeration Raceco an unexpected bath. Another N1 4x4 entry, Jean-Pierre Joubert and Errol Hodgson in the Class E Kia, making its debut in the Bankfin Off-Road Championship. William Battersill and Reg Sutton from KwaZulu-Natal would soon have their hands full with the pack bearing down on them. Brandon Harkis and Carlos George started 57th in the bat and were carving their way through the field. They would later retire when a rear trailing arm broke away from its mounting. Teammates Bevan Bertoldt and Colin Howell started 64th after fuel pump problems in the prologue, but they later crashed at high speed without sustaining any injuries. Api Reneke and Robin Houghton were on a mission after starting 66th in the Castrol Toyota Land Cruiser. Despite poor visibility, the experienced pair made light work of the slower cruise. Getting lost, and often, was the plight of all teams. Here, the Bertoldt